everyone. This is Michelle Mras, and you are watching or listening, depending on where you are, to Mental Shift with Michelle Mras. Now, if you're wondering and you stumbled across my show and you're like, who in the heck is Michelle Mras? Well, look me up. I'm at www.michellemras.com. That's MICHELLEMRAS.com. It's above if you're watching, and if not, it's below if you're listening. So, Mental Shift, we talk to people in all parts of life. I mean, just general life, businesses, entrepreneurs, you name it. I talk to people and bring them onto this show about whoever has a life story and then had some major mental shift in their world that shifted them into a new gear to find their passion and their calling into this world. Speaking of that, I met this young lady here. Her name is Kim Green, and she's from the Advanced Therapy Institute of Touch. And I met her a couple of years ago after I did my TED Talk, and she's the one who got me interested in this type of microphone because I was on her radio show and went, I like the way this sounds. So please welcome Kim Green.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And I'm really excited to be here. It's like, I saw you start from this fledgling little, person who you had this message you wanted to share, right? And it was passionate and it was genuine and it was authentic. And I really wanted to see you succeed. And so we did. We had so much fun. She came on my show when she had her TEDx talk. And then we got her set up with a radio show at, the radio station that I had my show on. And so it was just really a beautiful, and it's so incredible because you've come such a long way. And I'm really, really excited for where you're going to go. And I'm really proud of what you've accomplished in just a short period of time.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I remember saying, Kim, I don't know what all these buttons and gears, well, what do I do with all these? And she taped things off and said, don't touch this, touch this.
Yeah.
I remember all the dummy proofing, and now it's like, let's just do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I know what you said, just be you.
Yeah, just be you.
Now, Kim is an amazing woman, and she's just she's really into wellness. And so she helped me a lot because when I met her, I had just had my brain injury and I didn't know what I was doing. And she helped me a lot through the mental version of it and the holistic side of saving myself. And so those of you who are saying, what injury? I have a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury, and I went completely holistic in my treatment. So, Kim, what do you do now? Well, you've always been doing this on the side. You've always done it anyways. But tell us more about what do you do at the Advanced Therapy Institute of Touch? Because I know, but they don't know.
Mm-hmm. So we have lots of different things that we offer. And it's not just about offering. I mean, I have this vision. I want to make holistic health mainstream all across the United States because you had a brain injury. I've had 14 brain injuries. I just keep hitting myself against the head. I'm just stubborn that way. And so I've been able to recover from many different things. Like 10 years ago, I had encephalitis from a camping accident. And the doctors told me, you're never going to be able to cognate again. You're never going to be able to walk up a flight of steps. You're not going to be able to do this and that and the other. And I said, well, thank you so much, emergency medicine, for keeping me alive. I hear your diagnosis. I don't believe it. I'll take it from here.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And actually, like right around the time we met, I fractured my skull.
Yes, I remember that.
Because I fell. Because I was getting ready to, I had applied for the TED Talk, and they said you were on. And then what happened to you, Kim? And I said, well, I still spoke for my final interview, but I couldn't remember my talk because I just fractured my skull 2 weeks before that. So, and that was another hard one to come back from because I started losing my eyesight. So I have this mission that I've been on for 30 years. I've been in business for 30 years, which is amazing to me.
She's only 35.
Yeah, you're so sweet. Time has so flown by. So the beautiful thing that we do at Advanced Therapy Institute is, one, we're mainstreaming holistic health. So in 2013, after 20 years of trying to make it legal, we made alternative medicine legal in Colorado, in New Mexico. I was one of the main volunteer lobbyists. Yes, those two words can go together, volunteer and lobbyist. And so we made it legal. in those two states. And my passion is really holistic health. How can people come back to health from life-threatening accidents, from life-debilitating situations? Because I've done it over and over and over again. And our bodies are just this miraculous thing that can really come out of extreme situations. I mean, neuroplasticity in the brain.
It's amazing.
Amazing. It's phenomenal. It's like things grow back. We heal. Our bodies are like so intelligent.
Well, I remember we've heard that when you were growing up, once you lose a brain cell, it doesn't come back.
I never believed that. In fact, in 7th grade, I would always challenge my science teacher going, I don't believe that mutation happens over thousands of years. I think it's instantaneous. And then all of a sudden, there are people who are saying that, mutation happens instantaneously just in our research in the last 5 years. So, but going back to your question, as far as what we do, I own an occupational trade school. So I'm licensed in the state of Colorado, and I train people from all over the United States through my teleclasses how to actually work with people. And I've been doing this for such a long time. It's not Google information. Because a lot of times I see on Google where there's a lot of things that are being put out on the internet that are actually quite dangerous to you. And so what we try to do at the school is we really try to give good, valid information of things that have been used for hundreds of years. So that's one of the things we do. I still volunteer lobby. I'm still, my goal is I want all 50 states to have holistic health be legal in them, because right now, 38 states, holistic health is not legal. There are only 12. So that is my big long-term life goal, is to hit those other 38 states. I helped with 2. Actually helped with 3 indirectly, but I helped make it legal in 2, and we want to get those other 38 states.
Why would natural medicine be illegal? I don't understand that.
So one of the things that happens is that there are groups that go in and they try to get licensing. So like with massage therapy, I teach massage therapy at my school, right? But in other states, there are lots of licensing laws that say you're either a massage therapist or you can't touch another human being with any kind of healing act, as far as advanced body work. Well, there's a lot of forms of body work that are really valid out there that you don't learn in massage therapy school. So I fought the massage therapists, and many don't even know that their organizations do this. They just get their insurance and they don't realize that. The dietitians and the nutritionists, they're in a battle. They don't believe in each other's way of doing things. So nutritionism is illegal in a state where dietitians are licensed. So, but they have very different views of how to go about working with the body. And I think that all views are both truthful and wrong. Right? There are some things in every modality that it's not really quite right. But then there is a lot of truth in most modalities. So I am all about, do not limit people. Do not governmentally regulate people in that way. And so that's what one of the things that we do at the school is we're going in, we're trying to make nutritionism and dietary not licensing, but just dietary practitioners both be able to practice, because they both have something really beautiful to offer.
Wow. I'm just thinking with my traumatic brain injury, my
Yes.
breast cancer, I was jumping between things because some didn't work and some did.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, more the natural way was working better for me. So
Yeah.
I shifted completely. But I'm in Colorado, so
It's legal here.
Legal.
And
I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
and myself and just a handful of other people helped make it legal. And yes,
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I fought from about 1999 to 2013 to try to make it legal. And that's one of the other things, too, that we're doing at the school. We have a new thing called the Wellness Way Revolution.
Yes.
Yes, and I am so excited about this. So, it took me almost 20 years to make 2 states legal, and I thought, wow, we got 38 more to go. I'm not going to live that long. That's just all there is to it. I'm not going to live to be. I don't do mental math, but that's a couple hundred years old, maybe close to 500. I don't know. So I'm not going to be around that long. So how can we really do something for the public? And I have this little woman. She has been practicing alternative health. She's 92 years old. She still practices, and she's incredible. And she has been my mentor for 25 years. She's taught me a lot. I have little old people that were Mandan Indian, Lakota Sioux, Ayurvedic practitioners, that judo masters that took me under their wing, and they mentored me privately over and above academia, and they taught me what their grandparents knew, what their great-grandparents knew. Some of these people are in their 70s. Many have passed on, at this time, but I have all this knowledge in my brain that even though my head injuries happened, I still remember it.
Well, I found something about that whole brain injury thing.
Yeah.
There are things that are gone from my memory forever, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But the things that filled in those spaces are priceless.
Yeah, they're pretty incredible.
And so with you've taken in all this old knowledge that has been almost pretty much lost, and retained it. And so I always see the positive and the negative. So yes, we banged our heads.
Yeah, 15 times between us.
Okay, a little bit more than that on our end. But the thing is we banged our heads, we lost things, and you can dwell on the things you lost, or you can grow and embrace the things that you can bring in. And so if you're out there listening and you say, oh my goodness, I have a brain injury, advancedtherapyinstitute.net, okay? Just go there, talk to Kim, okay? Because there is a way.
There is a way, and Michelle, you found your way, and I found my way with it, and we want to help others find their way.
I just love that you're a repository of ancient knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and I've got so much of this in my brain.
I know, and you can rattle things off. It's amazing.
Yeah, and
it's like, are you sure you hit your head?
I did, and when I fractured my skull, I couldn't even string a sentence together for a while.
Yeah, I know that part.
Yeah, but it came back, and it came back by using glandulars, which is one, for those vegetarians and vegans out there, I apologize, but, because I really respect your belief system and that kind of thing, and the way you live your life, because it works for you. We all have a different blood type, so vegetarianism does not work for me, but by eating glandulars, I fed my endocrine system and my brain by eating organ meats. So when you have an injury or a disease in Chinese medicine, if you have a liver problem, you eat liver. It used to be you would eat brain in China if you had brain issues, because you'd get the pituitary in it, you'd get the hypothalamus, and those hormones in that organ meat would then feed your own brain. Well, we don't really have brain available in the United States, or I would have been eating it. But what you can do is you can take glandulars. And so glandulars will help stimulate those areas in your brain that aren't working right. And that's how I healed my brain, is I took glandulars. And I would take pituitary, and I would take hypothalamus, and I would take thyroid to get my glands back online, which is really what you need to do when you have a brain injury. So those are some of the things that we talk about in the school. And but going back to how I went to this Wellness Way revolution, I'm so excited about this. So all this knowledge was gifted to me over the years, and it's not mine to sell, and it wasn't, and none of the people who gifted it to me sold it to me, and so we're putting it in a compendium. It's not done yet, but what will happen is this compendium will be free to the public. I can't necessarily make holistic medicine legal in all 50 states, although I am going to try. This is a goal that I will see before the day I die.
Correction, not try. She's going to do it until she stops.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then we'll find people who can take over from there. So, but we're going to put this knowledge in a compendium that's going to be free to the public. And so it's like all of this ancient knowledge that I have in my head, all the knowledge that I've been taught over the years, I'm writing it out. We're putting it in a PDF. People, it's going to be, it's not a like how to heal yourself book. It's more of, this is old knowledge that we're losing. It's a historical document of things that people have done, things that people used to use, and things that people still do. But that's not really my focus. My focus is I don't want the knowledge lost, and it needs to be in the public domain. So that's what the Wellness Way revolution is.
I love it.
Yeah. So you can't, I can't fight legislation all the time. So, but if knowledge is back in the public domain, then it's never censored again. And I don't believe in censorship.
Alrighty.
So that's what we're doing at
You
the
have a
school.
workaround.
We have a workaround, and and then I also teach what I know.
Yeah.
So I teach a lot of things that have been lost over the years.
If you're in the Colorado area and you can get to Kim, go to the Advanced Therapy Institute. Go contact her through and contact her.
Oh, and you don't even have to be in Colorado now. I have.
You've got them online.
teleclasses.
Yeah, you have teleclasses.
Yeah, they're live. You actually you're live in my classes, and so it's wonderful. So you get to see me working with my students, and then people will fly in and work with me personally once a quarter.
Cool.
In an intensive for an entire week, once a quarter, and so that's what we're doing.
So it's an international world. So don't think because you're in another place that you're being constrained by it. For those of you in India, I teach classes once a month online to everybody around the world all at once. So it works. We're an international world. If you're interested, reach out to Kim. Now, I wanted to ask you something else. 30 years of business, you have your Wellness Way revolution. You're going to make this public domain so that this knowledge is not lost and it can't be blocked. I love that.
It can't be blocked.
I wanted to talk, what else did I want to talk to you about? You have had some really interesting things come into your world that you've walked away, and I wanted to share that with the audience because there's so much going on, especially with the new year and all this. People are like, I'm going to make this much money and I'm going to do this. And you and I have both realized in the past
30 years.
in the past 30 years that money is not a driver.
Yes.
It's an end-all means. Yes, it pays for things, but it's not what feeds your soul. And for people whose bodies kept trying to die on them over the past some odd years, we've learned that people are more important. Yes. Integrity is more important. And loving mankind and helping them get to a better place is more important to us, at least to us.
Yes.
And I want to tell us your story about you walking away from that huge deal, because it's like, I can't believe you did that. But I believe you did because I know you.
I did. And so I was 23. I had worked in oil and gas from the time I was 14, right? So I was a novelty. By the time I was 23, I knew all of these really very, wealthy oil and gas people. I worked with Enron, Exxon Mobil. I worked with, Laria Oil and Gas Company, Aladdin, some of these smaller ones that people might not have, heard of. But I worked with some giants by the time I was 23. And so when I got into all this when I was about 19 or 20, all the holistic health, and I had these little Native American women really save my life. I was going in a bad way. I was going in a really bad way. And they took me under their wing. They showed me what family was. And I had a family, but, sometimes your families are a little dysfunctional. And mine was, even though I love them very much. I just talked to my dad yesterday. And so they took me under their wing, and they started teaching me things that, I'd never learned before. And as I learned from them, I realized that oil and gas was not the industry for me, right? And before I walked away from oil and gas, I was getting ready to move out here to Colorado and start my dream, right? They were saying, Kim, you're crazy. You're walking away. You work for the vice president of one of the most wealthy, oil and gas companies in the nation. And one of the wealthiest families in the world. Why would you walk away from this position when you've risen so fast? Because, like I said, I was a novelty. I started at 14, and I built my way up really quickly. And I had I had 3 businesses come to me. They were 3 very wealthy, high-end oil and gas executives. They said, "You stay, and we will invest $1.5 million into you." And you will own 51% of the company.
Whoa.
And at that time, there was a lot of, a lot of equal opportunity grants that were happening that, as a woman, I would have been able to like match that $1.5 million with governmental stuff. And that's what they were looking at. They were looking to use my sex, but my personality. And I love these three men. I knew them. I used to go to coffee with them all the time. They're really a lot of fun. But I looked at it and I said, yeah, $1.5 million, but I will not be living my passion. And so I said no. And I moved out to Colorado, and without
That's a lot for a 20-some-odd year.
23 years.
Yeah, you're a baby.
23-year-old. I was a baby.
But you had some good head on your shoulders.
Yeah, I was a baby, and I'd already been in business for a long time. My dad was a farmer. He had his own insurance business. He was an entrepreneur. He taught me you can achieve anything you want if you set your mind to it. So and never let anyone tell you can't do it. Because these oil and gas people were saying, Kim, you're crazy. You'll be back here in 3 years wanting your old job back, and we'll be waiting for you. And I used to have recurring nightmares that I was back in Kansas with these people, and I was working in oil and gas again. And I said, nope, I'm going to do this, and you just watch me. And I'm going to succeed. And they wished me well, but I walked away from $1.5 million. And I know that you've walked away from big deals too, Michelle, like a lot of money, because it was not right for me. And so when I moved out here, I will tell you, I had some hard times. I was down to $0.25 in my bank account at one time, and I was still happy, and I was still moving along, and I was still living my dream.
Yeah, living your truth.
Because money cannot buy you happiness. It can maybe make you a little bit more comfortable, but ultimately, if you're living your passion, you will have a fulfilling life. And that is what I've done for almost 30 years now. And I've been, every time I had a head bonk,
It's like, I wish I had that 1 point.
I know. It's like, no. Every time I had a head bonk, I struggled financially because it would put me behind.
Yeah.
And every time I came back out of it. And so you just, my dad was a wonderful cheerleader. I just love my father so much. And he would tell me, he would say, your ideas are just as important and just as valid as anyone else's. So that's what you go with, Kim. You don't go with money. Because money, he said, I've met so many wealthy people who are miserable.
Very unhappy. Yeah.
Miserable, unhappy, always looking for the next dollar, always trying to maintain what they created. He said, but you live a life where you're doing what you're passionate about, and you will be always happy. And then he would tell me, and you serve people unconditionally and selflessly, because when you serve others, that's also what makes you happy. And that's what I've always done. And Michelle, I know that you've done the same thing.
I didn't have a wise father telling me anything, though.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching other people that I admired.
Mm-hmm.
Doing what they love and what their passion is.
She looked at me like she admires me.
Of course.
You're so wonderful. I love you so much.
But that's it. It's like I watch people. I mean, I've been in the political world. I've been in the money world. I've been in a lot of different worlds. And no matter when you from the outside, you do, wow, they must be really happy because they can do this and they've got this and they've got this. And then you look deeper and you're like, maybe not. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what makes me happy? Well, what makes me happy is I like sitting out in the woods with a campfire.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, money's not my object. I like talking. I like telling stories about the past around a campfire. I'm like, where are my priorities? And that's where I went. It was people, community, stories, and knowledge from the past. Getting the knowledge from the past is a very big deal for me. And then when I met Kim and I knew that's what she was doing from the past, that's how she got her knowledge. I'm like, these are the kind of people I want to be with. Mm-hmm. People who want to grow and expand by not losing what our past was.
Our past is so important. Mm-hmm. I see so many things that we used to take care of ourselves with, that we've lost it.
I wonder if it's because we got hit in the head that we got enlightened a little bit.
Maybe so. Maybe it's like it emptied our brains out. So that way so much more information can come in. It just got rid of all the stuff. I always say I'm kind of like Kelly Bundy, off of what was that show called? Married with Children?
Married with Children.
Yeah, well, her thing was when one fact went into this ear, another fact came out of this ear, right? So when we got bonked on the head, we lost all of our facts. And,
And I'm a happier person for it, which is funny.
I know.
We're not saying go out and bonk your head. Okay?
Yeah, don't bonk your head.
It was not pleasant.
Yeah. Mm-mm. It took me 5 years to come back from the one.
I think I'm still coming back from the one.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I look good and I feel good, but every once in a while I do.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Okay, because my husband calls me Dory every once in a while. I'll be on this great track where my brain is working, and then I'll be tired and nothing sticks.
Yeah, but just like Dory, just keep on swimming.
Keep on swimming.
Just keep on swimming.
And you smile because you don't remember all the negative from your past. It's a really good way to move.
It is. It's a good way to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
So, just don't bonk your head intentionally, but
pretend that you did, so
yeah,
let things go.
Yeah,
Stop
things
hanging
go.
on to the past, because if we held on to everything that went wrong in our past, we'd be unhappy.
Oh, completely.
But we look so forward that we don't even look yesterday anymore. We just keep going.
I like the knowledge from the past and the wisdom from the past, but I don't need the baggage from the past.
Learn your lesson, move forward.
Exactly.
Well, what else do we want to talk about? We only have maybe 10 minutes left.
Okay, well, I want to talk about young entrepreneurs.
Oh, please do.
Yes. So, so sometimes people have that entrepreneurial spirit, and I think that is something that is inherently in most of us, right? Most of us want to create something bigger and better in our worlds. So how do we do that, right? So one of the things that I really did very, very much so is when I was first starting out, and like I said, remember, I only had a quarter in my bank at one time. And there was a lot of ramen noodles that I would add cucumbers into, or zucchini, or, I eat meat. So
You had ramen?
I had ramen.
I would buy one bag of potatoes.
Uh-huh.
And I'd have a baked potato, then I'd have a sliced up potato, and I'd fry it. And then I'd boil it and make it in soup. I had potato everything.
Oh, you had potato everything? I had ramen everything.
I should have went to ramen.
You should have gone to ramen, because you can add a lot into ramen and make it taste good. So I had ramen everything. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that to people because,
No, high sodium, don't do it.
High sodium, a lot of processed foods. But I got away from ramen. Now I know how to eat, other kinds of noodles that are much better for you. So, but I did a lot of ramen.
She's distracted me.
I know, sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay, so banana spiders.
You're still haunted by that?
I am still. On my interview, we talked about banana spiders. Oh my God. I never laughed so hard in an interview in my entire life. This woman has got the funniest banana spider story in the world. Okay, you got to tell it.
No, because she has to talk about the young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
You have to finish that.
All right. Okay, so the number one step that you got to do every day if you're a young entrepreneur, you are going to put your dream and your vision on paper. First thing, right? And I know that's a really boring thing, but that's okay. Do it anyway.
Do it anyways.
Do it anyway. Even, find joy in the simplest, most boring task, and that is one of them. So put your dream on paper. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to wake up every day and you're going to get ready for work, and you're going to start work at 8 a.m. and you're going to work at least 6 hours a day on your dream. And then you're going to go to your regular job, and you're going to work another 8 hours at your regular job. It's a long day, and you don't have to do 6 hours on your dream, but at least do 2 to 4 hours a day, right? Even if you're working another job, I don't care. I've had multiple jobs at one time, but I would get up every morning. And for 6 months when I first started, right, because we were doing massage therapy and somatic trauma release, and I worked with a lot of people over the years who have been victims of violent crime. I've worked with some of the people who were in mass shootings. I've worked with the family members of mass shootings. So a lot of trauma. So, but I was not, my modalities were not well known 30 years ago. We weren't considered mainstream. I've been able to mainstream it because I worked on my dream every day. I went out and I talked to people and I explained to them the chemistry behind what I was doing. Now modern medicine universities are catching up to us, right? They're doing research saying, wow, we've discovered this new thing in the last 5 years that works. And I'm like,
this new thing that's been doing it forever.
I know. And I've been doing it for 30, and there are people before me that have been doing it for a lot longer. So I would wake up every day. I'd go to the nonprofits. I'd go to the police department. I'd go to the DA's office. And I help bridge, what was once considered invalid to make it mainstream. And I did that every day. And I did it for 6 months before I got my first client in. Took me 6 months to get my first client
That's
to
pretty
come see
fast.
me. Yeah. And so, well, not when you got a quarter in your bank account.
Not when you're starving.
I know. And eating ramen. And sometimes I didn't have zucchini and cucumbers. That was just when I could grow it in my garden. That was during the summer months because I grew my own zucchini and my own cucumbers. So wake up every day and you go to work. And you're going to work as if you are making all the money in the world. And you're going to be happy and joyous the entire time. And then when you get that first client who comes in, you are going to go out and you are going to celebrate. And you're going to rinse and repeat. That's what you're going to do. And so I still celebrate every time I get a new student. My daughter and I, we go out and we have a nice meal. And we celebrate the win, right? And then I always, sometimes you have bad days and you just think, oh, I got to give up. Nope. What you're going to do is you're going to go take a really hot bath if you're a woman. If you're a man, do whatever men do. I don't know what men do.
Some of them take baths too.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so if you're a man, go out and take a really hot bath too, scalding. So that way you really know you're a man. And but maybe you want to go work out too.
Okay.
And so you're going to do what men do. I go home, I take a hot bath, I cry my eyes out, and then the next day is a new day and I leave the day before behind. And so you're just going to cry your eyes out. You're going to feel like a fail. You're going to go through all the emotions of what it feels like to fail. And then you're going to go to bed. You're going to sleep it off. And you're going to show up to work at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Basically, have a quick pity party.
Pity party all the way and get back up. And you just keep doing that. And I've been doing that for 30 years. And after the first 2 or 3 years, my pity parties pretty much stopped. It was like, oh, this is normal. Normal business is fluctuation.
Yes.
You have to get comfortable with fluctuation and not winning all the time because you are not going to win every one of them, right? You'll win a lot as you learn. But I didn't win a lot in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of what I felt were failures. But guess what? Same people that I talked to 2 years before when I thought I was failing, all of a sudden, boom. 2 years later, they would knock on my door or they'd call me up and say, hey, Kim, I've really been thinking about this.
Yeah, I've been processing what you talked about.
Yeah, for 2 years. But I want to work with you. And it's like, okay, let's do this. So you never know when those seeds that you plant are going to come to fruition. Like with Michelle, it's like you were on my show. What was that, 3 or 4 years ago?
It's 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Look how far she's come because she got up every day and she has had surgeries. She's had major illnesses and she went through them and then she got back up and she started again.
And honestly, if you look on my timeline, you'd never know I ever went through anything because I kept going.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when you're sick, you get up and you sleep from 8 to 8:30, and then you work for 10 minutes from 8:30 to 8:40.
Very productive 10 minutes.
Yeah, very productive 10 minutes. And then maybe you just stare at the screen for 10 minutes because you don't know what you're doing and you're kind of like in a fog. But at least you got your computer out and you made an attempt.
Yeah, keep moving.
Keep moving. You keep moving. And so that's how, because I've had a lot of illness, and holistic health has always brought me back.
Yeah.
I'm the poster child for holistic medicine, and
kind of I am too.
Yeah,
actually.
and you are too. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would tell entrepreneurs.
And remember, you try different things. Well, not try. Do other things. If you're working on something and it doesn't work for you, shift. Just constantly shift till you find what works for you, and then come back around because what didn't work for you at the beginning will suddenly work once something else is processed through. And that's what I was finding with me. Yeah. My body didn't like it. Oh, I found something else that started working, and then went, well, this isn't working. I went back and it went, whoo, it worked. So I'm being really ambiguous about what I'm talking about, but I've used several different holistic ways of getting my brain back, getting my body back from my cancer and all that other jazz. But you keep trying, keep doing.
You just keep going. And that's even if you can only do a little bit. And let's say you're not even an entrepreneur and you're listening to this. What can you do if you're like a shut-in? You can't see, you can't get out of your house, you have like such debilitating things. You can use the phone and you can call a nonprofit and you can call them up and say, I want to be able to work from my home. How can I make a difference in your nonprofit? And so when you can make calls, You can help that nonprofit. So you don't have to be shut in to your home. You can still be doing things to really uplift yourself out of your circumstances.
Yes.
Because when we help others, it's really we're helping ourselves.
And that's huge what you just said, because when you are not feeling well and you're inside your own head, all your inner critics come up. Everything that says you're not worthy, you've got this disease or whatever problem you have because you are this, if you can get out of your head and go help something else, someone else, another organization, anything, it gets you out of that internal voice of you're not good enough, you deserve this, to I'm giving, I'm helping, look what I'm doing to this other person, they're smiling, and therefore you smile. You forget what you're in. And that keeps you moving. Yeah. I think that's really what saved me, is I keep looking out so that I didn't do, oh my gosh, the world's after me.
Yeah, and it's like, and when you have a purpose, and sometimes your purpose is in helping other people, you can call a nonprofit and you can say, how can I make a difference from home in your organization? Can I call donors and maybe talk to them? And maybe I can call, people who you want to help, and remind them of their appointments that you have. Maybe it's a counseling nonprofit, just something small like that every day. But it's still getting up and having a purpose and doing something.
Yeah. Yes. Shower, get ready, do something.
Do something. And so I know with we have a sliding scale fee student clinic. That's also one of my national goals, is I want to have a sliding scale fee student clinic in every state, where if people can come and pay, they do. And then if they can't pay, they still come.
Good.
And so that's what I'm trying to do with the students I teach in other states, so that way they can have that sliding scale fee in other communities. So even if you wanted to volunteer with my sliding scale fee student clinic, that would be great, because you could call people that I have on our database and just say, hey, we haven't seen you for a while. You wanna come in. And just simple things like that. But there are so many nonprofits out there that need help. Yeah, and so just simple things can mean so much to one person.
And you never know what door that will open for you, so you can get out of whatever slump you're in anyways.
Yeah, and uplift others. Always uplift others. Michelle uplifts others all the time with what she's doing in life, and I'm really excited to see where you're going to go.
Me too.
With all of this. Yeah.
Well, and that's what MentalShift is about, is that I wanted to give a platform to share what people are doing in the communities around the world, because this show is not just local in Colorado, it literally is around the world. And I wanted to share across the globe that we all struggle, we all have our problems, we all get up, and there's ways to improve from whatever situation you think you can't get out of, that when you are forced to shift, it gets better. And I it's the only way I could think of sharing it, was get a podcast and share all the different stories from the people I've met throughout my lifetime. And that's what MentalShift is about, to help other people who are struggling realize that it might be bad now, you may not be able to see the future, but it'll always be better.
Yeah, it always gets better. Yeah, and I think that's another thing too. Sometimes our minds get into a place where we think this is going to last forever. No, happiness lasts for a period of time, and then sometimes we go into a slump. But it's just a moment in time. Sometimes then we're angry. That is only a moment in time. Then the anger subsides and it passes. And so if you just look at that as when you're in a bad place, this too shall pass. It's really, really important to remember that.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Well, I'm not going to tell my banana story.
Oh, I want to hear your banana story.
No, I'm not going to tell it.
Will you?
Well,
okay. You got it. She's got to tell her banana story.
Okay, let's see how quickly I can tell it.
Okay.
Let's see. I can't remember, but I think I was 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and I was riding on the back of the bicycle with my uncles. Now, I have to clarify that. My uncles are the same ages of me and my brothers and sisters. My mother and my grandmother were having children at the same time. So my uncles were also teenagers, okay? I was the baby. I'm on the back of a banana seat bicycle, and the boys are all racing, and I'm the token girl on the back of one of the bicycles. And we have an open school system, so the hallways are open. And we're in the Philippines, and you can see out. The hallways are open, okay? And we're riding on the bikes, and every hall has a different uncle or brother, and I'm on the back of Uncle Willie's bike. And we're zooming down this hallway, racing, because we can see everybody between the buildings, right? We're racing. And at the end of the hallway, I see a huge white blanket. It wasn't a blanket. It looked like a blanket. It was a spider web. It went completely across the 10-foot corridor. And I said, Uncle Willie, watch out for the web. He's pedaling. He's winning. Uncle Willie, watch out for the web. And as we're getting faster and faster, we're getting closer to the end, which is where the spider web is. Uncle Willie, watch out for the... Now, have you ever had something happen in your life where the world stops and everything moves in slow motion? That's what happened to me. As we were going through the web, I noticed a very large black thing in the center of the web, and it had a yellow pattern on it, stripes. And I remember very slowly, as I was screaming, watch out for the web!
And your mouth is open really wide.
My mouth is wide open, and I'm watching this body of the spider coming towards my mouth in slow motion, and I can't close my mouth fast enough as I'm screaming in agony, in fear, actually.
Yeah.
We go through, and at that moment, I feel spider hits the back of my throat, and its legs are still sticking out of my mouth, and I feel it struggling at the back of my throat, and I have locked my throat. At that moment, I'm holding onto my throat. I fall off the bike because I'm no longer holding onto my uncle, and I'm laying on the ground holding onto my throat. What is the universal sign for choking? Holding your throat. So my brother runs up to me and he starts slapping me on the back, trying to help me not choke. And I'm in here with this internal battle with the spider and its legs gripping the inside of my mouth as its bulbous body is stuck in my throat. And my brother does, ugh! And I feel its legs go down my throat.
Oh.
And I start crying. And my brother says, what's going on? My older brother comes up and he says, Michelle, what's going on? I said, he says, did you swallow something? I mean, what's the spider web for? I do, I'm losing my mind. He says, did you eat something? I do, he says, was it a spider? And I do, yes! And my other brother, who pounded on my back, says, was it a big spider? I said, yes, it was a big spider. He says, oh, it wasn't a big spider. Did it have a big thing on its back? I said, yes. And he said, oh, that was just an egg sac. It wasn't a big spider. Which, of course, makes it worse. And he said, don't worry, the babies will be fine. They'll find their way out later. Which, of course, the 8-year-old me loses it, starts crying uncontrollably, and my older brother has to walk me home because I am now dreaming of the spiders coming out of my nose, my eyes, my ears, and every other orifice in my body. The next 10 years of my life, for some reason, even though I did learn science, I did not realize that stomach acid would have killed the spider. I waited for 10 years, and every night I would drink Coca-Cola from a bottle, a big bottle, the 2-liter. I would down it, hoping to drown the spider with Coke acid. And every night I would either put like toilet paper up my nose and earplugs in my ears because I was trying to stop the spiders from coming back out. And that is my banana spider story.
And that is like one of the best stories I've ever heard in my life.
And I sped it up, but it's my story.
I love your banana spider story. Thank you for telling it.
I have a lot of really strange stories like that. If you ever want to hear any more, I have a YouTube. Actually, it's right above me on the page if you're actually watching. It's youtube.com/Michelle Mras or Michelle Mr. Az. And I have a lot of stories there because I used to speak on the Story Project, the National Public Radio Moth Hour, and things like that. So I have a lot of crazy, wild stories with with morals to the end. Like the moral for this one was, when you're going down the hallway, close your dang mouth when you see a spider.
My brothers used to torment me tremendously, telling me things that weren't necessarily true that would just terrify me. So my moral to your story is, don't believe everything your older brothers say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just because they're older doesn't mean that they know everything. Oh, that's just a good lesson altogether.
Yeah.
Adults don't know everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, spiders never did come back out of me, so I did kill an entire family race of spiders with the egg sac. And there was an additional part of that story. One day I'll tell, maybe I'll have you back on the show.
Oh, that would
and
be
I'll
fun.
tell the second half of that story, because I did meet that spider's brother.
Oh. Did you apologize for killing the spider?
No, I killed it. It was huge. Okay, please Google banana spider
They're
Philippines.
huge.
They're huge.
They're huge. Okay, so when I'm back on your show and you're talking about how to kill this banana or what happened with this the brother of
The banana spider.
banana spider, then I will actually go in and I will teach 4 remedies on how to take care of a black widow or a brown recluse spider bite naturally. How does that
Ooh,
sound?
that would be a good deal.
Because black widows love me. They have bitten me so many times that I've had to figure out 4 or 5 different ways to work with their poison.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they marked me and I'm like little spider food.
Next on Mental Shift, when Kim Green will join us, we'll be hearing more about why in the world is she getting bit by black widows.
I know.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, and how to heal your body from a black widow and a brown recluse spider bite naturally.
Okay, we're going to have you on in the next 2 months because that's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Kim, is there any last bits of wisdom you would like to share with the audience?
Never believe that you're not enough.
That is darn true.
Yeah.
You are.
Mm-hmm. And your thoughts are just as important as anyone else's. So share them.
That's a good end note.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kim. And I'll see you in a couple of months when you tell us about the brown recluse and black widow remedies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And please go visit Kim at www.advancedtherapyinstitute.net and reach out to her. And if you're out there and you're wondering if you can volunteer and do something, call her.
Yeah.
Okay? So have a fabulous week, everyone. And until next time, this is Michelle Mras with Mental Shift. If you want to, please subscribe to my YouTube page, youtube.com/Michelle Mras, or go to my website and just kind of follow along or subscribe or whatever you do on websites. I have no idea. It's MichelleMras.com. Have a fabulous day, and please share this because there are other people who need to hear the messages that Kim just shared with us today. Thank you, and have a good one.
Thank you.